which was a better pilot, the Netflix pilot or the Disney Plus restarted pilot?
But it's not really a pilot,
exactly. It's not really a pilot. It's a restart.
But it's still based on the same stuff that they already did for the last 3 seasons. So it's hard to compare that at all. I mean, I think I liked it more than so. I think Luke Cage, the first 2 episodes of Luke Cage, I was enthralled in. Very much Jessica Jones. The first 2 episodes of Jessica Jones, because it dropped all at the same time. But the first 2 episodes I was enthralled in, because I didn't know what to expect. So I don't even think it's fair for me to compare that to Daredevil, because Daredevil, I kind of did know what to expect. I already had 3 years of investment into it. So it's hard to compare, but it's good. I'm not sitting here telling you it's not good. It's not the best thing ever. It's not.
Yeah. No. I mean, for me, I think it's hard to catch. I think I forgot what else we were talking about that. But it's hard to catch lightning in a bottle twice, kind of thing. And that first season was epic, because it was very, very different than other Marvel stuff we saw. Very dark, legit dark.
It was
super violent.
It didn't pull any punches. It was a little more grounded. It seemed a little more plausible than some of the despite the premise than some of the other Marvel stuff that we had seen, and it was just it was very much in its own little corner. You could consider it part of the greater Marvel universe, but at the same time, it was very much standalone.
Because it was Netflix.
Because it was Netflix, yeah. Save for, I don't think it was until Luke Cage they started making greater MCU references very much here and there.
But it would just be touching it, not storytelling.
It was connecting. It was kind of just peppered here and there. But yeah, and I still rewatch the Netflix Daredevil series. I think it still holds up. I could still sit there and be enthralled.
I think the Netflix Daredevil, the first season, was the best out of all the Netflix stuff. And I loved, don't get me wrong, I am a Luke Cage fan through and through. I love Jessica Jones when I saw, but I still say Daredevil was the best.
Yeah, Daredevil really did reign supreme. I loved Luke Cage. Honestly, I loved both seasons.
Yeah, Bush.
Jessica Jones still thought it was solid all around, even though the third season was on the lesser side. But I still liked it overall.
Season 1 was really good.
Season 1 was great. Season 1 was great. Plus, it had David Tennant.
Yeah.
One of the best Doctor Who's.
Even my Doctor Who.
But that first season set the bar. It set the standard, and not saying everything else wasn't great. Because they were Brandman was saying, it wasn't that new-ish, that new feeling was gone, So it's we expected good things from all these other shows, and we got it, I think, for the most part. But now it's been
Iron Fist.
So yeah, that's what I said, for the most part. For the most part, Defenders was it had potential. It was, but we'll see.
Defenders was watchable. I guess.
Yeah.
It's the best word.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I think.
But it's been 6 years, 7 years since the end of the Netflix Marvel stuff, right? Or since the last season of Daredevil, I believe, right?
Since the last season
of Daredevil. Yeah. Since the last season. I was
So it's been a while since we got Daredevil, and people have been wanting it, because I believe, wasn't it 2024 was when the rights back, came back
2020
or 2023.
And then in 2024, they had most of it, of the show already done. Yeah. And then that's when Feige watched it and said, F that, we're really doing this whole thing. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what, where you get this hype from, because it's so much better and everyone's telling you is really good. And we all saw what's up, Sheed? We all saw the sneak peeks and all that stuff was so good, and they have great actors in it, and you feel the intensity.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to tell you that this first 2 episodes I saw was better than Netflix. I'm not. I think it can be. I think the whole season could be. But as of right now, I have it below it.
Yeah, I think you got to wait until you see the whole season, which is only 9 episodes. Because yeah, that's what they're doing. Because then season 2 is another 9 episodes. So we are getting 18 episodes of Daredevil, but it's not consecutive, which sucks. Because we were told we were going to get a full season, full 18 episodes.
Yeah, which I was so pumped for that. God damn it.
Yeah, it does suck. But it fits right in line with everything else, Disney Marvel's doing,
Well, I feel like I hijacked the question before you guys have to tell your piece of how good something actually was. So let me shut up. Brandon, you go ahead and talk about how much you enjoy Daredevil. So I'll shut up in here and listen now.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, real quick, give some of the chat. Yeah, hold on. Let me just knock these 2 out. Delta Dan said the first episode of Daredevil was a 9. The second was an 8. All the moments with Mark and Fisk are fire. Matt and Fisk are fire. Yep. Born Again is the best series Marvel has produced. It's good. I think it's a little too early to say.
I don't even think that.
Yeah, I want to wait until I watch all of it and before I go there.
I still say Loki's better. Like,
yeah, right.
But that's not fair.
Pretty awesome.
But that's not fair for me, right? Because we have a whole season of Loki and Daredevil. We only have 2 episodes.
2 seasons of Loki. So yeah. So it's still a little early. But yeah. All right, Brian, man. What you think about Daredevil? The first 2 episodes.
Oh, I liked it. I really liked it. I liked how right out of the woodwork it set the tone for what we're gonna get this season. I liked that it legitimately did feel like a continuation, or a standalone. Like if you haven't, like I've talked to people who didn't even watch the Netflix version. And on one hand, I'm kind of like, shame on you. What are you doing? And then the other, I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's great to see Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, Deborah Ann Wool, Eldon Henson back into this, back in these roles. I think the scenes between Murdock and Fisk were amazing. Like the diner scene was awesome.
So good.
I like the way that it was shot. It's still, they understood what worked from the original, and they ran with that with kind of like some little, not even tweaks, just like some kind of comic booky additions, like in terms of particularly like the way that Daredevil moves, like his acrobatics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm happy they're sticking with what works, and like just the brutality of the show with the fight scenes. Thought that was awesome. And they play a TV on the radio song at the end of the first episode, which is one of my favorite bands. Actually, my Facebook background is the lead singer of TV on the radio. So when they started playing "Staring at the Sun," which actually fit the character of Matt Murdock in that moment, I thought that was amazing. So they had me there. So it had me wanting to check out more. Had me wanting to watch more. The first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most important things, right? Is like. You got to hook the people, right? You got to hook the fans to where they're at, like what's next, what's going to happen next, and I'm not sure how you guys liked how the end of episode 2 was. Fire. I was just like, yeah,
fire.
Because you just see it where he's like, you don't want to do this. And like, for me, I'm watching, I was like, is he talking to the guys or is he talking to himself? Because exactly, he's like, and and that's what, like, I hate that the showrunner or the director, whoever, said like, "Oh, there's not going to be the dialogue. It's going to be more action." But I'm like, but the dialogue is what made it great. They
And
did amazing with the dialogue.
It's a lot of dialogue. I mean, the courtroom part of it was better than anything we got with fucking She-Hulk. It is way great. It's actually lawyery. Like I said to you, I was like, I feel like I was watching the episode of Law and Order. Which first, I'm just gonna let you guys understand, Law and Order is probably my favorite thing ever. Yeah. So just don't get me wrong, like it's one of my favorite things. Don't let me get some SVU, but it's that good. It was that intense. It was that smart, well written. So I mean, these are all positives. I'm just not ready to anoint it.
No, yeah,
but these are all unbelievably positive. I mean, I even him speaking to White Tiger and the way they did the respect of White Tiger was just superb. I mean, I loved it. Even though I don't know if you guys caught, he's like, he didn't even have his amulet on, his magical amulet on. I was like, how you would be grounded and didn't have fucking magic? Like,
well, I think they're doing a really good job with
they throw it in
going in between, like it's grounded because he's a street level guy, comic book character, but he's still a comic book character, like Brandman was saying, like he's swinging around, Delta Dan brought it up, he's swinging around. We didn't get that in the Netflix thing, we're getting it here. Like it fit what he was, like he's a badass, like that's what he kind of does.
The magical amulet was a little weird.
That was weird.
There's no reason to say it at all. Like you just could say he didn't have his mask on, he didn't have any of these things that make him who he is. There's no reason to throw that in.
But I just find it also interesting that like some of these heroes are so investigated or well known that they know what makes them powerful. You know what I mean? Like obviously Daredevil, I don't think people know he's blind. They just know he's a badass fighter and all that. But like White Tiger,
blind, it would be a problem. You know exactly who he is.
Like, you can probably like round it up to a few people. But like with him, it's like White Tiger is like people. It's such a well-known fact that like White Tiger gets his power from the amulet. So I was like, that's kind of interesting where people are like investigating these things. The Spider-Man reference. Awesome. Loved it. It didn't feel out of place. It felt very much like what they're supposed to do, is make him back into a street level kind of guy swinging around. So I like that. Plus
it's still, like I said, they're still using what worked from the original. It's just it just kind of lends itself to a greater to the greater MCU. But I like that they're still keeping it is what it is for the most part. Save for exactly what we were just talking about.
Question for you guys then. I got a question. So do you care about Vanessa and Fisk going to the psychologist, the therapist, the couples counseling? Because I have two answers. I have two different answers. So I just want to know what you guys
but it's also she's dating Daredevil, so it adds that extra layer of.
Do you care that they're fucking going to a therapist?
Sure. Only because I found myself pretty invested in the character of Fisk. I think he's very compelling in terms of the way that A, he's written, and B, I really enjoy watching the way Vincent D'Onofrio plays him. So my investment in the character is kind of really kind of keeping me interested even in stuff like that he does.
But does that take away from the character? Not really.
No.
I mean, I don't think it adds or takes away from the character, but it does say something about Vanessa. But as I digress, I just was wondering.
No, not necessarily, to answer your question. I think if anything, it just kind of makes him. It just kind of adds another potential layer to him. That's what I think works about Fisk. I really enjoy him. As a character, and furthermore as an MCU villain, because it's kind of far and few that we get such compelling villains in the context of the MCU. So it kind of has me interested watching him even do that.
Yeah, I'm more interested in Vanessa more than I've been before because I feel like she's gonna be a problem. Like she was never really a problem. She was always kind of in the way, kind of, or always a reason why Fisk would do things.
Yeah.
Now I feel like she's going to be like a problem, and I think it's the whole way that they're setting up, at least this season of who you are now versus what you were then, and for Daredevil, it's very simple. Matt is Matt, and he's got Daredevil. Fisk is one person. He doesn't put on a mask, but what he made Vanessa do is like that Kingpin title transferred over. Like she became Kingpin. So like it's Mayor Fisk, but also he has Kingpin in his life, that is represented by Vanessa. So it's like this whole, dual personalities that Fisk and Matt are going with this season, I think is interesting. And for Fisk, it's her because she's kind of a badass so far because she's like, she goes, I don't want to hear your shit about like, your little made up daughter and you were gone. Like I was running the business, and she's like in here like
badass. She sound like a woman.
But she wasn't like that before. She wasn't like that before. She was very
because she wasn't involved in the business, but
she was the wife.
She was the wife. She was like, oh, protect me. But then she realized, oh, by me being with you, I have power. And she kind of got pissed. She got really pissed by like, you took my power away just by walking in the door, and that pissed her off, So it's really curious to see, because he has this love and she's more like, you have the power that I grown to crave, so she's going to be a problem. And I'm really curious to see what he does, because part of me is like, I wonder if he kills her because he has to reclaim that Kingpin title.
No, I don't see it that way, but
I don't know if he kills her. That would be fucking epic if he does.
No, he can't do that. That would be against his character of Kingpin.
But if she's not who she is anymore,
doesn't matter.
If she's not Vanessa, if
he doesn't care about himself,
he loves. Yeah,
he loves her no matter what, usually, right? Because he's done it multiple times. If he kills her, it's on accident. He will never intentionally do something to
I
it.
can see that, like blinded by rage.
Just like totally not think it's her, and she's like he does something and then finds out that it was her. Like he would never look at her and like she.
If she tries to kill him,
he'll probably been down. He'll probably just been down to take it
because they brought up Echo in this, and when Matt's like, "Oh yeah, your daughter who shot you in the face, right?" They kind of laugh at it, which was
and what does he do? Once again, he lets her do it. Like I think he loves hard. Yeah. At the beginning, when they started doing the whole therapy thing, I thought it was stupid as hell. I was like, "What the fuck? What are we doing, guys?"
Yeah.
I don't.
What's up, Nikisha?
What's up, Nikisha? I thought it was stupid. It was idiotic, and there was no need to do it. The second we kind of got into the therapy session, the more I thought that it was actually important.
Shut up, Ace.
I think it became.
I think by the time you're sitting down on the couch and they're going back and forth on what they want, then you're like, oh, okay, I think this is more of a bigger issue.
I don't think it's gonna become an issue. I think it became more of a okay. So as he said, I want to continue to have my wife and learn to have my wife. And the problem is when you're Mayor Fisk, you can't do it. So I think she's going to be the reason that pulls him back into the crime part too, and realize he can handle both, be a mayor and be a criminal. She's the one that's going to bring him into that. I don't think that he's going to necessarily have to kill her. I think she's going to say, we need to do this. And she's going to be his backbone and make him realize he can be both worlds and let her still run it. But he is still the head of it. I think that's what it was going to be. But I got that idea now because I feel like who's going to die is the therapist. And, but I thought that's why it made more sense now to bring her in. And I was like, okay, now I understand what's going on. They're dating. This makes a lot more sense. and I was okay with it. But it did slow down and did feel a little bit less. The timing was a little bit off because of it. So like we were doing these things and these things, and then they went to the therapy session. I was like, well, it's weird that you placed it right here. But then we got into it and understand what you were doing. The first 2 episodes about everyone understanding who these characters are. And Vanessa is very important to who he is.
Yeah. But even I like where they placed it in that episode, because it just shows you how even without Matt knowing, Fisk is still fucking up his life. He's like, I'm supposed to go on my date with my girlfriend. Hey, I got some work I gotta do. It's very important. It's
Matt was going to cancel anyway.
Yeah, but
so I don't know. That's why it felt out of place, because Matt was already doing what he was doing. So I was like, it was like all this stuff actually leading up to the action. And then this was kind of like stalling it a little bit. And then I was like, okay, but I get over it because I think it's gonna be important to the story. And then where else would I put it? So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like my favorite scene or anything, but I think it is pointing out where, like, I think Vanessa is gonna be more of a player than a pawn. You know, because I feel like in the first couple seasons she was there, but she herself didn't do anything. It was her just being there was enough for Kingpin to like protect her. Well, no, because she's in charge now.
She didn't do anything though. She ran it like a business. She didn't physically do anything. She ran it. She respected all parties, but part of it she doesn't understand is that they respected her because of who she was too. So she didn't do anything physically at all. She wasn't dominant over anything either. So like I don't think she did anything. So that, you know, that's going to come up in itself anyway.
Yeah, I dare I say in the Netflix run, I don't know if a background figure is the right word to use to describe her.
But motivation.
She was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, she was a little bit more than that. You know.
Yeah.
But, you know, she was definitely more of a reactionary character in the original, rather than, you know, like the big wig that she is now. And again, I'm curious to see where that pans out, because like I was saying, that potentially adds yet another layer to the character of Fisk, which you know, I'm just excited to see it. I really like seeing them develop him and, you know, just kind of add more. It makes me look at him as a lot more than just your average villain. And let's face it, much as I love the MCU, much as I'll rewatch most of the stuff, we have a lot of throwaway villains. So it's always refreshing to see one come along like this that's a cut above the rest. And you know, within the context with this medium, a TV series, a streaming series, you have more wiggle room to flesh them out. I really appreciate the fact that they're taking advantage of that. So, you know, do as much of it as you want with this character.
Yeah. I mean, it's also with a great actor, you know, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, D'Onofrio, so great.
He was in Law and Order.
He was in Law and Order, right?
You know, but he's a guy who does TV very well, you know, and has been in movies, you know. So if you ever want to take him and put him in a movie, if it makes sense, obviously you're just not going to throw Kingpin in a movie with fucking, like, you know, Kang or, you know, Doom, you know. But you know, if you do like a Spider-Man 4 with Daredevil, and if Spider-Man 4 winds up being like a street level thing, like we hope. You know, I can see Kingpin popping up.
That's the one thing that I want more than anything in the world. Spider-Man and Daredevil like teaming up against Fisk. It would be a dream come true. Especially D'Onofrio Fisk, like Tom Holland, Charlie Cox, you know, going up against them. Especially if and even from what we've seen in you know, Hawkeye and Echo, it seems like they're kind of doing a little bit more, like kind of giving him like a little more of that comic booky feel in terms of what he can do. Basically him being a peak human in terms of his like strength, which would be awesome. So yeah. Hell, play with that too.
Mm-hmm. So the one thing I enjoyed, probably one of the most things that I enjoyed right off the bat, we get a fight scene that I thought was I legit sat and I thought, I'm like, was it as good as fight scenes from the original Netflix? And I don't know, I really love the fight scene between him and was it Bullseye?
Yeah,
With the knife thing, and it felt like Daredevil, like the Daredevil that we're used to. What do you guys think?
It did. And not to steal your thunder, Tank, just want to add something to it. One thing that I associate with the Daredevil series, they even did this in She-Hulk on his brief appearance. We always get that one at some point in the season. We get that tracking shot fight scene.
Yeah.
Which or that long shot fight scene. And I was even talking to a friend of mine who's a really big fan of the Daredevil series. He was waiting for it. I've known this kid since I was a teenager. We went to summer camp together. But we were always asking ourselves leading up to, are we going to get our tracking shot fight scene? and yeah, we got it 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just wanted to add that little anecdote.
That's funny. What about you, Brian? What do you think about the fight scene, or any fight scene, really?
It was fine. I mean, it was good. I think it's going to be better. I think it was. I thought some of the CGI was not crisp. I thought that it was okay. But I think it was the first scene. I thought it was important to the story. I hated the idea that they made this whole big deal about Foggy coming back and then killed him off.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Like, I just like, then what the fuck did you even meet? Give me all this, like, hey, Foggy coming back, all this stuff, and they all here. What the fuck? It was 4 minutes. Well, why is he already dying? I mean, like that was like, okay, then what was the point? So, I'm not going to sit there and think that all that was great, but that's more storytelling. And I'm just a fan saying I'm complaining because I wanted Foggy there longer. So that's not like neither, talking about the show or anything. It's just me not being happy about Foggy being dead, even though the motherfucker is coming back for the season 2. So I really don't know what the hell's going on with that. So I am really confused. But I'm just going to be patient, and say, these are guys that are doing a good job usually with storytelling, and I'm going to let them tell a story, and I'm not going to sit here and harp on every single second. I'm just, once again, not anointing it. I'm just going to kind of wait and see. I'm going to put that as my moniker when I'm watching Daredevil. Wait and see how good it could be or not be. I'm not going to pretend like it's great, the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not going to pretend like it's not good, because I'll be lying too. I'm just going to wait.
Yeah. I mean, right now, just by itself, I think it is great.
Even though throwing off the fucking
great it's going to be.
Throwing him off the fucking building was awesome. And him bouncing.
Dude, that was awesome.
He heard the heartbeat stop, and he's like, he looked at me, he just threw him off the fucking building. Awesome.
Yeah. So season 2's already done. Season's what he signed up for.
Well, yeah, because they just started filming season 2. Like this week, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I thought they started.
They just started season 2.
Yeah. Foggy signed up for season 2. Just saying. Yeah. I don't know how they're gonna. Maybe it might be another flashback or something like that. But from what I understand was this whole first episode was like a big rewrite. Was this one, and I get it, because for me, I don't know how you guys felt, but episode 1 was we have to. This is how we tie it into the previous stuff. In a way, so this is how it all ties in. But then episode 2 was, here's the new stuff, here's the new world, here's what was it, a year later or whatever it was,
the time
like here's the story that we're going to tell. So it was kind of like, I got what they were trying to do. We're like, hey, this is how it's connected, this happens, and then we move forward with the time skip, and now we're in the new Daredevil kind of world.
Which again, I'm good with. Like, so we're still pretty early on in the game, but I'm very like kind of here and there when it comes to time jumps.
Especially
but
in
I
the MCU
think
right now.
Yeah, like, hell, like Endgame, it worked, obviously. I thought that worked really well. If you could do it right, because sometimes we have Endgame, sometimes we have Fantastic Four 2015 when it comes to time jumps. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing. So far it's working for me.
Yeah.
There's kind of a lot they can do with the time jump, flashbacks, how that's kind of crafted, how that's further crafted Matt Murdock. So I'm curious to see what they do with it. And yeah, just to kind of piggyback with what you were saying, Brian, I think Foggy was added to like the reshoots when they basically overhauled the show. Originally, this was going to be basically like a complete overhaul, just with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio remaining, which I thought was a dumb idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they were basically tossing everything that worked about this show down the crapper, and you're like, why? So thankfully, thank goodness for the for the strike, because that's when they came to their senses and basically.
That's when Feige looked at it. He was like, "So show me what you actually did."
Yeah,
he had some free time. So, yeah. But I mean, even if you add them in for the one episode, it just it brings back that nostalgia, a little bit, where you're like, okay, it is a continuation, because I believe Vincent came out recently. I think he said like this was going to be not at all, and then they wind up changing.
It was going to be a totally new story,
just a new story, not connected
not
to the old stuff.
Issue.
Yeah,
that would have been such a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah, and then just even with the first episode, and I wonder if that's why the CGI wasn't the best, because she said it was kind of weak, and I wonder because they recorded it and they were maybe trying to like, hey, we still got to stay on schedule and come out a little bit. It wasn't horrible CGI, but you can definitely tell.
You're saying like you're trying to say like this is going to be the best thing. It's the best thing that Marvel did. And I was like, well, I could see that this doesn't look as crisp as it should look, especially as much time as you've taken, but these are details, right? If I'm talking about the entire show, I'm saying this entire show is really good. Just these details make me take it down a couple of notches. So I was going through some of my Daredevil comic books, and I think we're gonna get this episode with the Punisher.
Punisher,
yeah.
That's why I mean, like by the time we get into by the end of the season, we might not even look back to episode 1 and be like, "Oh my god, that was horrible CGI." We might just be like, "Oh my god, Punisher killed a bunch of people and Jessica Jones came back and whatever else they want to tie in." So.
And then them throwing that amulet out there does make me say that you have magic in this world. What do they do with that magic? I don't know. So I'm just saying that could be something. And we'll see. So I mean, I'm excited to see where they go with it, but I'm just, once again, I want to be more realistic and I want to be truthful to what I thought about it, and I thought that it was good. So yeah.
And then one, or do you want to say something, Brandman, before I cut you off earlier?
I think I forgot.
No.
Yeah.
All right. But one last thing I did want to bring up was since you're talking about the amulet with White Tiger, is the actor, he went up passing away last year.
That's what I was gonna say. Now I'm reminded. Just in terms of like kind of elements that they're adding from the comic. Yeah, the White Tiger subplot is like straight out of the Bendis run from like late 90s, early 2000s, if I remember correctly.
Probably
somewhere around there.
I don't remember the year, but yeah,
actually have it. So yeah, it's from the late 90s. It's like 98,
late
99.
90s. Yeah,
that's that one.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Bendis run. So yeah, add as much of that.
I was trying to find it. When you were talking like the whole time, I was like, I've been trying to find it. I know I have it. I put it over here just in case. And I cannot find it. I know it's here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Because I believe I'm trying to look. I don't know too much about White Tiger, but I believe there's different like I don't want to say mantle, but it is kind of it's been passed down, right?
I think so.
Like whoever has
the suit itself, yeah, and the amulet, exactly. The amulet, it gives them the power. It has been passed down from generation to different family members and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like a family thing, So yeah, family legacy, Yeah.
Don't talk about mantles right now. I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah, I know, right? But it makes sense when it is a mantle, when they write it in the story, and then there's lore of it. That's what I was trying to get at. Is like when it's meant to be a mantle, then it should be a mantle. That's what I'm kind of saying. It's like,
and don't make it a mantle when it's not supposed to. Never.
Yeah, well, like Blue Beetle. Like Blue Beetle is a great example. That's not a mantle. There's two separate characters between the old Blue Beetle and the new Blue Beetle. They just have the same name. So that's like not. But this is like no, it's a thing, and it gets passed down and inherited. So I wonder if that's what they might do. With the passing of the actor, of the season, if they might like, oh well, I was trying to see who's next after what was his name? Hector? What's his name? I think
Hector.
Yeah. So I wonder if they're gonna like, oh yeah, he winds up being killed in jail or some shit, and I believe it's what his niece inherits it. So I don't know. That's kind of interesting, but I do like seeing these other characters, in it. I wonder how much we're gonna get, because I believe we got a new Elektra too. Yes, there's a female. I believe the female White Tiger is after Hector. He passes it on to looking into it.
To his niece. I think it is his niece.
Yeah.
Is.
Yeah. So yeah, but I'm in for like getting some cool characters like that. Like I want to see more of that. Shit, bring in Tom Holland for an episode,
right?
Marvel, they're not going to want to.
No, they won't ever do that.
They're not going to cross their.
And I think you can't. I think Sony came in and said like, no, you can't use Tom Holland. That's why they didn't do the voice for the last one. That's why they had to separate who he was in the cartoon, this recently cartoon, because Sony was like, no, you do not do that. So. Yeah, we're not getting Tom Holland. Even though that would be cool, but
that would be awesome.
Not gonna happen.
But yeah, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
On many levels, yeah, on many levels that won't happen for many reasons. But yeah, anything else before we move on?
Nope.
Fun.
I want to talk more about the MCU, so that's why I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun episode. First couple episodes, definitely interested to see where it goes. But they're gonna recast the White Tiger. If they do, that's
oh my god.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, so I think for the most part, I think you guys in chat are saying you're digging it too. So, yeah, like Brian said, I'm not ready to dub it the best thing that we got from Marvel TV yet. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I had a good time watching. I'm really interested to see where it goes, and these characters are great with these actors are great with these characters. So yeah, can't wait to see where we got. What, 7 more episodes?
7 more episodes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Let's keep going with this, and hopefully, it spawns like a good TV universe. Can we get that? Can we, a Marvel TV universe? So the MTVU. I don't know. What would that? I don't even know. What would you call it? MTU. I don't know. But yeah. But if you're watching on a replay, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think about Daredevil, the first couple episodes. So leave a comment. But we appreciate everyone coming in and hanging out with us. And if you are in the live chat right now, stick around because we're going to move on to our next topic for the night.